Hello everyone, Kezavern here today, and we are going to be going over the Treasure Hunter minigame and the new reroll feature because I think it's worth taking a look at. So the Treasure Hunter game is a bit in-depth. Let's look at the rerolls first and exactly what that means for Animal Jam now, because it's kind of a big change, and it makes a much bigger difference whether or not you're a member, because only members get this reroll feature, and it can be used basically everywhere. There is, of course, the new Super Dig feature for the dig sites, or fossil sites. They're the golden shovels. It's not the Treasure Hunter game. Let's not get too confused in this video. Anyways, lots of new member features. When you dig something up, you get a possibility to do a reroll based on the item you found. So you can switch out certain things for other things that are within the same roll pool. And we'll go over that more with another example. But in this one, you can dig up an unknown fossil and get a treasure chest now. Whether or not you can re-roll a treasure chest and get an alpha chest, I do not know, but I'm still re-rolling all of them to find out. Obviously, re-rolling discoverables like flowers or something else and getting something better than gems is a big bonus. And then of course there's the treasure chest that you can open, and while they're still usually garbage, you can slightly increase your chance of getting not garbage out of them. So that's always a plus. And then there's more specific things like pet expeditions. Re-rolling those garbage items into sapphires or into DNA or something else valuable instead of just the regular trash they bring back is great. The one downside of doing this is that I feel like the market for pet DNA vials is going to drop slightly. Because the number of DNA vials entering the game is now going to be, I would say, close to doubled. People who were like me and have usually over 100 pets out for expedition at a time, now when they return, instead of just getting back what you get back, you can re-roll all the garbage and possibly get back twice as many DNA vials, meaning there's going to be twice as many available on the market. And when there's more on the market, there's going to be less demand and they're going to be less valued. So that's kind of a double-edged sword with this update. Yeah, I personally don't mind getting a little less junk. It's nice to re-roll some of that stuff you would normally just recycle or sell for gems and get something else that could be useful in some way, or maybe even some sapphires. So, moving on to the new Treasure Hunter minigame. I saw something about it's back or it's returning, so I don't actually know if this is new. It's new for me. Anyways, it's a little bit more complicated than some of the other minigames, so let's just dive right into it. I got extremely lucky at the beginning of this board as there was a 10 on one of the sides, which means there's a run of 10 or 10 empty spaces in a row. So of course you could just unlock all those areas and have no worries at all. That usually doesn't happen though. It's actually the first time I've seen it, so don't count on that happening. The next sections I'm going to unlock are going to be the largest ones I can find. So if you see a 5 or a 6 or a 7, those are indications that there is a blank run of 5, 6, or 7, you know. And you can unlock all of those depending on how they appear in order. So where there's this 1, 1, 5, I know there's going to be 5 at the end. And since I've already unlocked this other row, I already know this 5 is going to be right here. So I can open up all that. My big mistake on this board was assuming that there was going to be a blank set of 2 at the front here, which of course there was not. There were 2 phantoms. And so that basically destroyed the whole game for me because I made it a guess or an assumption too early on, and that can definitely spell bad things. So let's take a look at another board, because each board is going to be different, and depending on the board it's going to be either easier or harder. And anyone who says they can complete any board every single time is lying to you, because there are just some boards that are going to be really difficult because the only thing they reveal to you on the sides is like 2s and 1s, and there's almost no large numbers, and it is just so impossible. Now that doesn't mean that you have to have large numbers to win. You can also do it with a bunch of small numbers. You can see again I am opening up the large areas, but right across the top here I have an opportunity with a 1, 2, 2, 1, to open up the area because the first one has already been unlocked, and so I know the second one is going to be a phantom. Let me show you how these numbers look on the board. When you can see that there's a gap in between each of these numbers, it becomes clear there's only one way it can be unlocked, and so those ones are a little easier. The next one I look at is a 1212, which isn't actually the best way or the best one to unlock because I was incorrect about the way it was laid out. Now let's skip ahead a little bit and see how you can use some math to unlock more of these. We have a 133, which adds up to a total of 7, and because there's 3 numbers, that 7 also means that there's going to be 3 gaps, which makes a total of 10. And when you have that total of 10, it also means it reveals to you exactly where all the spaces are going to be. Now I've gotten this board to a point where I have to take a guess, and this is what I mean by no one's going to be able to beat all of these every single time unless they're getting incredibly lucky and their board layouts are pretty easy. I'm at a point where I have to figure out whether this 2 is one below the 4 or if it's further down, because you can't quite tell if they've moved it or if it's in one position or another. So you just kind of take a guess, and I hit a phantom, which is fine because I still have another chance, and it reveals to me exactly where that 2 position is instead of being further down. Now my next piece of information I get in here is finding out where my second 3 is on this 3-3 row. And luckily I've unlocked another row going down that does reveal the answer. I have a 4, which means there has to be a gap at that next spot, and if there's a phantom. If there's a phantom at that spot, that means the 3 has to be to the right side of that. And so you see, as you continue to unlock things and more things get flagged to be guaranteed as phantoms, you know just more about the board. There are areas, like if I were to try to do the bottom row right now across, that would be complete suicide because it's showing 1, 2, which means there's only a total of 3 actual clickable spaces, and there are 7 phantoms. So the very bottom row is like the very last thing you do. It's the worst row there is. You have no idea where those other 2 are going to be at this point, and clicking on them early on would be a big mistake. Now, skipping ahead again, because this one took me a while, let's look at how I deal with the 1s at the very end here, because 1s are the hardest thing. There is a gap after 1, but you don't know if the one after that is going to be a phantom or not, so you do just kind of have to guess, and on this particular board I got lucky. I also had some information aiding me with all the other stuff that had been unlocked, but you can see I just barely managed to get through this whole board. I did make 2 mistakes, which were kind of required to unlock pieces of information to unlock the whole board overall. And also notice how incredibly slow I go. I'm not rushing through this. This is much more a game of chess or a game of thought and precision versus the shovel digs you do out in the regular world with the golden shovel. If you just click around randomly, you're going to end all your games very quickly. So you have to take time and think about what numbers are available to you, what information you have about the board, and how to proceed from where you are. And jumping right back to the topic of re-rolling, this is another great opportunity to re-roll standard crafting crystals into the more brightly rare colored ones that you could likely sell for sapphires or use for crafting if you want. It's up to you. I'll have a video on crafting at some point as I do collect crystals, buy them, and use them for all sorts of stuff. Anyways, I'm going to show another board, sped up though. Just to give you an idea of another layout and how I approach it and how you can go about solving yours. I have tried expert level, but honestly, you just have so much more guesswork with more board that I've been sticking to hard, and I get much better luck with those ones. The main thing to notice with this board or playthrough I do here is that I am making more of my mistakes towards the beginning, as you have a lot less of the board revealed, and you're actually more likely to lose towards the start of the game versus kind of the middle. Once you're towards the middle of the game and about half the board's revealed, you can get pretty close to the end until you have like a column with a 1 or a 2, and that's it. And then you have to do guesswork again. Overall, I think it's a pretty fun game. Definitely too difficult for some kids to handle, but there are easier levels for that exact reason. Also, the reward for doing this is not something super awesome, so you're not required to play it if you don't want to. But if you do, now you've seen this video and hopefully you have some better insights on how to do the treasure hunting minigame. Also, if you want additional rewards, I do alpha item giveaways with each video I make. I've already given away 9 alpha items now, and I'll continue to give one away with each video, including this one. So just leave a comment and include your username if you feel comfortable with it. I always recommend 2-step verification if you're going to share that information. That is all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video about the treasure hunting minigame and the new rerolls system. And until next time, you guys keep on jamming.